Chica! I came on today to talk about reasons for failure on the HCG diet. And I'm hoping that by talking about some of the reasons that can cause this, that will help give us the tools to be successful on HCG. The reason that I thought about making, this is going to be a series of videos by the way, the reason that I thought about doing this is because I got a very good specific question recently on Facebook. The woman's question was, out of how many people you know who have done this diet, how many have dropped out and why? And you know, I don't have any specific statistics, you know, like actual numbers that I can really give on that question, but the why part of that question really got me thinking. And, you know, if I were to guesstimate how many people struggle at least temporarily with the diet, I would probably say about 50%, you know, fail, if you want to call it that, at some point or another. At least temporarily. So that's not to say like a lot of people just don't do the diet well and then just gain the weight back and never do anything else about it. But just in talking with everyone I have spoken with, you know, a large percentage of us, including myself, have struggled at some point or another on this weight loss journey with HCG. You know, for me, that was round 2. I did horribly, I cheated a lot, and then afterwards I pretty much regained all that I lost from that round in about 9 weeks. So, you know, definitely not what you would call successful, right?
The last several days, every day, I keep thinking to myself, okay, today I'm, you know, just gonna do the right thing and stick to protocol, and then I haven't done it. My second round, I had a rough time. I did not feel well. I felt really depressed, especially like the whole second half. I ended up cheating a good amount. At the end of it, I didn't do the stabilization phase at all. I just really wasn't feeling well. And so that just made it hard, you know, to do the right thing. So as a result, I have gradually put back almost all of what I lost on the second round. So I've gained back about 11 to 12 pounds in just the last, I think it's been about 9 weeks now.
So even for many people who are at like an ultimate goal and who are maintaining well, many of them have struggled, you know, through their diet journey. So it is normal. But I thought, maybe, you know, I was trying to think of the reasons why when she asked that question, why? Because if we know why that happens, it can help us to try to, you know, be prepared. And, you know, maybe we won't have to go through that as others have, like myself. So I came up basically with 6 reasons that I thought of for why failure, temporary failure at least, can occur on HCG. So I'm just gonna give a quick overview of the 6 reasons in this video, and then in the following 5 videos, I'm gonna go into each reason more in depth, okay? So the first reason that I think a lot of people may struggle or temporarily fail is not having a clear idea of what is involved with the HCG protocol, meaning it's harder than you first think. And you know, this is usually what happens with HCG newbies, because you've never done the diet before, and if you're one of those who got derailed by this, you know, don't feel bad. It's a common thing. But basically, I think what happens sometimes is that, you know, we're reading, of course, how much weight you can lose in such a short amount of time. There's no other diet that can do that. And that idea is so exciting, right? And it is. It's totally exciting. You should be excited by it. But at the same time, all the excitement over that idea, I think sometimes makes us forget the actual details of the diet, which involve eating 500 calories a day, and that we forget that humans in general, especially most of us who are overweight, eat for reasons other than hunger. So even though HCG will make you not hungry for more than, you know, 500, 600, 700 calories, the reality is we all eat for many other reasons. Most of the time that we're eating is usually not for just being hungry, right? There's emotional reasons, there's social reasons, there's, you know, there's so many other reasons, and I think we forget about this. So then when we actually start the diet, we run into some barriers sometimes when we realize how much harder it is to only eat the 500 calories, which means you're really spending the majority of your days not eating in all kinds of situations. And that kind of takes people for a loop sometimes, I think, because they've never really attempted to do that before. You know, they've never really attempted to just not eat. In the past, on other diets, they may have been eating different foods, whether it was low-fat foods or low-calorie foods or what have you, but they were still eating. You know, they were still eating consistently throughout the day and at social functions and when they were sad and when they were happy, you know. But once you get on HCG, basically the food is just so tiny that you really can't do that very much. So while the protocol is fast, it's definitely not easy. So I think that's the first reason that I see as a challenge that can kind of derail someone or cause the person to kind of give up too quickly, is just not being prepared for the difficulty of it. The second reason that I sometimes come across in my dealings with people for what can cause failure is expecting too much of the HCG diet and getting disappointed too easily. You know, when you read online about things, in fact, this is what I came across originally, was the fact that, you know, oh, you'll lose a pound a day on HCG or up to a pound a day. And I still see that quite a bit. And in reality, for women, which women are the majority of the, you know, population doing this diet, women, I almost never see a woman lose a pound a day. You know, the average is about half a pound a day. And not only that, weight loss on HCG is not consistent. And that's something that I think is not talked about a lot. So sometimes people experience a few days of no weight loss, you know, zero, and they get discouraged and disappointed, and they feel like the diet's not working, I'm not losing nearly as much as everyone else doing the diet, and that just gets them mentally just really discouraged, and they feel like giving up because they were expecting more. So I think it's really important to do your full research so that you do know what to expect. If you set your sights too high, it's going to be so easy to be disappointed. However, if you try not to have those expectations, that will give you the freedom to be pleased by whatever results you get. And truly, you know, in almost 100% of the cases, you're going to have better results than with any other diet, especially when it comes to actual fat loss. So anyway, I don't want to get too in depth on it because I'm going to do another video on that topic. But that's the second reason, is just expecting too much and then getting disappointed too easily. The third reason that I think can sometimes cause this temporary failure on HCG is your reasons for losing weight are not deep enough to carry you through the journey and to carry you through maintaining for life. You know, we all have superficial reasons for losing weight. I mean, it would be pretty rare, I think, to hear someone not enjoy being a smaller size, you know, or if you're going to a party or, you know, what have you. Most of us want to look good at social occasions, right? Especially if we're going to see someone we haven't seen in a long time. So for some of us, you know, a lot of us are going to have those types of reasons for wanting to lose weight. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally normal. On the other hand, if you don't have deeper reasons as well for losing weight, you can run into trouble, you know, because if you think about it, you know, like, well, what happens after the party's over? Or what happens once the newness of wearing a smaller size wears off? I mean, believe me, it does. I wear a size 4. I'm a comfortable size 4. And, you know, I don't know, they don't look small to me anymore like they did at first. They just look regular. I'm used to it. So at some point when the party's over or the newness has worn off, what are you left with? How are you going to stay motivated to continue either losing weight or to maintain your weight loss? And like I said, we're going to talk about that specific reason in a future vlog. So, but just have that in your head. You know, it's okay to have those superficial reasons. I'm sure we all do. We all enjoy that. But ask yourself if those deeper reasons are there, and if they're not, you know, we'll talk about that, okay? The fourth reason is as you continue to lose weight, your original goal for weight loss, you know, the reason for losing weight may not be enough anymore. What happens though, as time goes on and you lose weight, you may reach that goal before you finish your weight loss journey. And what then? What do you do then? You may have to come up with new goals in order to keep you going. The fifth reason that I thought of was realizing that you have emotional issues that you have not worked through. Sometimes we don't realize that we've been using food as a crutch for something. And let's face it, the majority of us do not eat food just for sustenance sake, right? And in fact, that's totally normal. I mean, food tastes good for a reason. Food tastes good. There's a reason why when we get together with friends and family, there's almost always a meal involved. It's wonderful to sit around a dinner table and have a glass of wine and a nice meal and talk and share experiences and also eat. It's very pleasant, right? So, I mean, that's totally normal. However, sometimes many of us who have been or are overweight did have unhealthy reasons for eating, which may have in part, led to our being overweight. And if you don't address those emotional issues for eating before or along with the protocol, that could really hamper your ability to get through phase 2, the losing weight part of the diet, or you won't have the tools in order to maintain your weight loss after you've lost it. And going on the HCG diet without addressing these issues is a recipe for failure. Whether it's actually on P2, or maybe you do get through P2 because you're so excited by the weight loss, but then when it comes to P3 and P4 and maintaining, you're not mentally ready to make the necessary long-term changes to your eating habits in order to maintain that weight loss. So I think that can definitely come into play and is something that's important to think about. The sixth reason that I think struggles on HCG can happen are undiscovered health issues. Can interfere with your ability to either do the diet well or to maintain after. This is something that I actually have a lot of personal experience with. I only have one round of HCG out of the 5 that I've done that did not go well. But the reason for that round not doing well was for health reasons. Basically, that entire round, I just had very bad food cravings. I was extremely fatigued, literally just totally miserable, barely making it through each day. And I got so depressed partway through the round, and I just came to this not even care anymore. I was just so miserable. I didn't care. It didn't matter what I weighed or if I ate or didn't eat, or I just felt horrible. And at the time, I didn't realize what was going on, but I have actually dealt with different chronic health issues on and off for the last 10 years. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was on a downswing. I actually did a specific video and a blog post on this topic of health reasons for having a failed round in the past. So I'll put a link to that in the description below if you want to see it. But we'll also talk about it again in more detail in this series of videos. So that's just something to think about as well. Sometimes you may know you have a certain health condition, and that could maybe complicate matters for you if you of course, talk to your doctor and everything about going on HCG. But a lot of health issues people experience are things that are kind of yet undiscovered. There's a lot of chronic health conditions out there that aren't necessarily, cancer or diabetes. These could be things that, like what I have is Hashimoto's. It's an autoimmune condition that has to do with your thyroid, or adrenal fatigue. Like, those are things that aren't usually clinically diagnosed necessarily, but that you could be dealing with and not realize it. And sometimes you might have been, experiencing general fatigue or cravings in your daily life, but you kind of thought it was normal, or you think, oh, I'm just getting older, or I just need to eat healthier, and that's the reason. But maybe there really is something wrong, and what happens is once you go on HCG, HCG is definitely a little more taxing on the body because you're eating so little, you're losing so much fat so quickly. So sometimes those undiscovered health issues become more pronounced all of a sudden, and they're a lot more obvious and can be difficult. So it is important to address those types of things and do your research. And again, like I said, we'll talk about that in another video. But so anyway, those are the 6 reasons that I was trying to come up with when she asked that question. It's important to me to talk about this stuff with you guys because I really care about you guys. I care that you get that long-term benefit, because it really can change your life and just make not just you feel better, but your family too. I'm so much more useful to my family now that I have a control over my body and my eating, because that's not a huge part of my life now that's a big mess. You know, I feel like that's kind of under control, it's taken care of for the most part, you know, no one's perfect. But that allows me to focus my mind on my family and my work and what I need to do. And I want that for you guys, because it is possible, but it is a process. And I just hope these videos will help you guys to mentally prepare yourselves, maybe look at different issues that could give you trouble or are giving you trouble. And then by troubleshooting that stuff, you can be successful. So anyway, I hope you guys found that helpful. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.